Bonjour, mes amis. That's French for hello, my friends. And as we know, French is the language of love. It's February and love is in the air. Though love means different things to each of us. So we're going to explore a few meanings today in our first story share. I'm so happy right now. I've been working on this for months. Okay, here is how this works. Each episode in this series will be full of authors' work on a common theme. If you want to know more about the authors and their social media links, go check out the episode description. I highly recommend it. Also, if you or someone you know want to submit to an upcoming episode, see details in the description for that as well. Today, we have a classic tale of how a husband and wife came together. Another that will leave you lingering on thoughts of bygone crushes, and another about finding love in unexpected places. Welcome to Jackie Just Chatters. By sharing people's stories, I strive to generate laughter, inspiration, maybe help you escape from the stressful world. I am your hostess, Jackie Lentz, who's still figuring out her own story. This podcast comes out every other Thursday. I can be found wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. I'd be most grateful if you left me some stars or a review, and subscribe if you never want to miss an episode. Thank you for listening and sharing. This story comes from Sharon Herrick from Van Buren, Arizona. She is finishing up her first novel, The Cry of the Hawk. The story she sent in is a bit of an origin story of how the novel came to be. The title is called The Loves of My Life. There have been two men in my life, Charles, the man I married, and Nathan, the love of my life. When I was a child, my grandma Amaker told me stories about my grandpa Herman, who was a cowboy, and my great-grandpa Simon, who was kidnapped twice by Indians and had to be ransomed back with horses. She told the best stories. I grew up in the 50s in Pleasanton, a small town in Texas. My dad, Joe, was a butcher. He was handsome, hardworking with a muscular body from lifting sides of beef. A true Texas gentleman. He always removed his Stetson when inside and carried a pack of Chesterfields in his shirt pocket. He was my ideal man. I was a nerdy teenager. No boyfriends, never dated. I was a wallflower. After graduating high school, I even spent time in the convent thinking I would be a nun. That didn't work out for me. So in my 20s, I moved to Kansas as a nanny. That's where I met Charles. He was tall, handsome, intellectual, shared my love of music. I married him. I thought I had found a companion, my soulmate. We were married 45 years, but he was always distant, apart. There was another man in my life during that time. His name was Nathan. Early in my marriage, I started writing his story. He was just what I needed, masculine yet sensitive, loving and affectionate like my dad. It was an off and on again relationship, but when life got me down, I turned to Nathan. He was the guy who was always there for me. In 2015, Charles was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He was a large man, around 300 pounds. I did everything for him. Bathed him, pushed him in wheelchairs, called EMS when he fell. I even changed his diapers. I watched as he slowly became a shell of his former self until his death in July 2018. It was then that I brought Nathan into my life full time. I've spent time with him ever since, fleshing out his story. This journey with Nathan has rekindled my love of creating and writing, and it is transforming my life. I hope I live to be 100, and I intend to spend the next 25 years adding to his story and creating all the others that are waiting to be told. This story comes from Danielle Notaro from Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. She has published in several magazines and journals, and even won the Outstanding Spoken Word Artist from the Lehigh Valley Music Awards in 2018. Her story is titled Song for Swan Elias. There was a girl named Swan Elias. I don't remember what grade she turned up in. She was overweight, nice and sweet, and had blue, cool blue eyes and light wavy brown hair. I would watch her erase her paper. It seemed her hand and the eraser were made of the same textures, gummy soft and warm. It seemed she could erase her paper or incorrect marking so effortlessly, because there was, in my mind, this special oneness between her hand and the eraser, a certain chemical reaction which made the eraser really malleable. Sometimes when maybe I erased too hard and could leave a mark, a streak. But she could erase really cleanly, leaving no telltale sign. Not that it mattered. We were allowed to erase. But it was a kind of magic she possessed and performed, and for some mysterious reason it caught my attention. I would become transfixed and allured by her head turning toward me with what I now imagined to be a seductive and sweet smile while she worked her wonder. I wonder if she was doing something to my heart and mind in that moment, hypnotizing me slowly, warmly, and softening my heart, relaxing my zaniness and releasing my uncontrollable urge to please. It was like a "you can be near me" look she gave, and "back off a little and watch. You can swim in my electrical, star-spinning aura." All those things we kids were attracted to. Sparkles, bangles, gold, magenta, azure, rainbow colors of glitter swirling in Swan Elias's aura, while she smiled at me, and I swirled with them. I was them for that moment, and then would land in a pure stream of milky-colored happiness. Blue eyes, plump warm hand, clean white paper, pink eraser, charcoal pencil shaped to a fine point, a cylindrical hive of possibility humming at the tip, a cylindrical hive of possibility humming into a fine point, shavings and curls of shavings resting sweetly in a mental canister, future beehives. No, future bird nests. And I swear, I think Swan Elias wore a headband with birds and baby birds hatching from their nests. Her clothes are in my mind now, brushed into a fine velvet. Everything was fine about her. Her sweat beads, her chewed lips, she was good enough to eat. I must have been in love with her, though I didn't know it. Her big, strong marks of letters, cursive on her papers, her wrong answers, all of it was acceptable to me. All of her. All of Swan Elias acceptable to me. Swan Elias and her golden heart. Our last story travels from South Africa to be part of this episode. The author is Shirley Goodrum. Written in first person by Shirley, she crafts the true story of how her parents met, with humor and rich details. The title is It's in His Kiss. At the end of the Second World War, ships of Queen Elizabeth's Royal Navy will dock in Simonstown, and her sailors will step ashore ready to celebrate the victory of the Allied forces, the end of merciless killing and long days at sea. Their wide bell-bottom trousers will swish through the streets of Cape Town. Their white peakless caps, HMS tallies, fastened in a bow over the right eye, will bob in crowds everywhere. I'll be turning 21, wear waist-nipping dresses, use rag curlers and metal grips to curl and wave my straight blonde hair. I'll style it into rolls and bangs with elaborate tortoise combs and dab my favorite perfume, Evening in Paris, on my wrists, behind my ears and in my cleavage. Hurrying to work, my hands will be holding onto my hat and skirts as the southeaster whirls through the streets, battering anything and anyone in its path, and the heel of my shoe will get stuck in a pavement grate. Roland Ingram's, handsome in his Royal Marine uniform, will hurry over. "There, it's a bit scuffed, but not broken," he'll say, rescuing the shoe and slipping it back onto my stockinged foot, and his fingers, curved under my elbow as he helps me up, will tingle my skin. "Are you hurt?" He'll sound upper-class English, like Laurence Olivier, the actor I saw in the film Rebecca, and I'll be glad my parents forced me to attend elocution classes given after school hours by my Standard 8 English teacher, Miss Evans. And my reply will do her proud. "No, not at all. I'm perfectly fine, thank you. I'm at a loss to know how to thank you for helping me." He'll smile. "You could allow me to take you to lunch." I will allow him to, again and again and again. And our mutual love of dancing will take us to the dance floors of the city. Within a month, his engagement ring will flash on my finger. As we move to the rhythm of the bands, the tango will mold our bodies as one. The boogie-woogie will whirl my skirts, and the foxtrot will pick up our heels and tap our toes on polished-sprung wooden floors. We'll boldly enter Cape Town's spring ball competition and dance our heart out at the Starlight Room. My savings will disappear on my costumes. Satin, lace, sequins, feathers will adorn my dresses. Red lipstick will wet my lips, diamante clips will secure my hair, and I'll gently pull nylon stockings over painted toenails, ease and clip them to my suspender belt. A check in a full-length mirror to make sure the black line is straight up the back of my legs, and I'll strap on my silver dance shoes. Roland, looking splendid, will take my hand and lead us into the spotlight. We'll wait for the music and begin on exactly the right beat, perfectly in sync. Our movements will build up tension and drama, thrill the crowd, captivate the judges, and we'll win the first prize cup. Excitement will sizzle in my blood, and I'll kiss Roland with passion, my lips lingering on his, promising a fondle of my full breasts. But he'll pull away. "Don't rush this, sweetheart," he'll say, but I'll be unable to wait for the touch of my Marine, my expert dancer, my hero of the war. He'll drive me home and park outside my house. The front door curtain will twitch, the light inside will turn off, and my mother will wait in darkness until I let myself in, before she goes to bed. But I'll stay in the car, sidled down in my seat, out of her line of sight, and unbutton my blouse. Roland will take my hand in his. "Please, don't. I want us to be pure on our wedding night." His words will make me feel cheap, rejected, and want to ask him when that will be, and my desire turns to embarrassment. My fumbling fingers will fasten my buttons, and our kiss will be awkward and quick, like a bird snatching food and immediately flying away. My mom will arch her brow. "You look upset, dear. Can I make you a cup of tea?" A shake of my head will set her off. "Have I told you I don't much like this Marine of yours? Hoity-toity toff he is, mouthful of marvels and flattery. What do you see in him?" I'll sigh. He's handsome, interesting, and exciting, and yes, you have told me many times that you don't like him. Just because he speaks well, like a proper gentleman, doesn't make him hoity-toity. And there's nothing wrong with him giving compliments, is there? I like it. And she'll go off again. Mark my words, my girl. For all his fancy talk, he's a cold fish. He'll put a ring on your finger, but he's not like your dad is with me. His eyes don't light up when you smile at him, and he keeps his distance, so he does. Come and watch us dance, Mum. You'll see he doesn't keep his distance. She'll say goodnight and I'll flounce off. But humiliation and my hurt pride will keep me awake. I'll toss and twiddle my engagement ring and almost take it off. And I'll greet the dawn disgruntled and tired. Wait for Dad to finish in the bathroom and listen to him laugh with Mum as he kisses her goodbye. Then I'll wash and dress. After helping Mum strip the beds and load the washer, I'll catch the train to work, all the while thinking of how I've spoiled things and how I can make it right with Roland. As a manageress of the stationery counter at OK Bazaars in Adderley Street, I'll scowl at my staff. It will be a trying morning, and my face will ache with the effort of keeping my customer's smile in place. It will often slip, and my staff will ask if they can take an early lunch. My nod will be curt. They'll hurry off, and I'll mutter as I straighten manila-covered Irish-ruled exercise books, sort pencils, rubbers, pens, rulers, tidy piles of blotting paper, and arrange a pyramid of royal blue, black, red, and purple fountain pen ink. I won't notice the two sailors swaying through the department store, bumping into merchandise. But when they stop at my station, I'll smell the beer and whiskey, a testament to their pub crawling en route from the dockyard to the city. The one will walk straighter than the other, and he'll grab his friend by the arm. Come on, mate, you can't do that, he'll say, trying to hold on to him, but losing his grip. Let go, Bill. I'm going to kiss her. His cap will fall off, but the determined sailor will climb over the protective glass, spin me in his arms, bend me backwards, movie star style, and kiss me full on the lips. My heart will race. My face will burn bright red, and I'll wipe my mouth with the back of my hand and slap his face. He'll stumble and fall at my feet and give me a puppy dog smile. Back me up, Bill. Tell her we're from London and watched her dance at the Starlight last night. I fell for you, darling, the moment I saw you. Get away from me, I'll scream, and the shopwalkers will come and haul him to his feet. We'll sorta miss Lance, they'll say, frog marching him out. He'll wriggle, look at me, and wink. You're a smasher, darling. A real bit of all right. His friend will nudge me. He's a good bloke, is George. He don't mean no harm. Just blind drunk he is, that's all. It's true. He said to me he thinks you're the most beautiful girl in the world. Said he's going to marry you. And George is a man of his word. Get out now, I'll order him. And tell your drunken friend I'll never marry him, not even if he's the last man on God's earth. Late afternoon, I'll be taken aback to see Roland striding towards me. He's never been to OK Bazaars, never visited me at work. He'll look splendid. He'll set my heart thumping, have my staff eavesdropping, and I'll not know how to behave towards him and settle on offering my hand. He'll leave it hanging in mid-air, and words will tumble from my mouth. I don't know what came over me. I've never done anything like that before. It's just, we won the competition. I was excited, and his cold eyes and tight lips will stop me. You shucked me last night, all dressed up like your namesake, that model who's trying to be an actress and flaunting yourself. I dressed like her because she's beautiful and glamorous, and I wanted us to win the competition. Being like her went to your head. Never mind, we did win, and I forgive you. I wonder what for, and not like the tone of his voice. Anyway, it won't happen again. What won't? You'll never be Marilyn Monroe again. His looks will turn heads as he leaves. I'll bottle my growing anger, having arguments with him in my head, and at closing time, I'll storm through the staff exit. The sailor, leaning against the wall, his cap angled to the right, touching his eyebrow, will fall in with my stride. He'll lift his cap in greeting, and Brylcreem will keep his auburn hair neat and stop his wavy quiff from flopping onto his forehead. I'll recognize him and notice that Old Spice aftershave has replaced the smell of booze. Ah, the drunk who's going to marry me. Guilty as charged. I'm sober, had a shave and a shower, plate of bacon and eggs, dabbed some stuff on me face, 'cause I had to come back and see you. To apologize? For kissing you? Nah, never. For embarrassing you? Yeah. And I'm here to introduce myself, proper-like. He'll offer his hand, and I'll flash my engagement ring at him. He'll smile. That from Roland Ingram's, that bloke I saw you dancing with? It is. He'll shake his head and look deep into my eyes, and I'll see honesty in his. That ring's a cover-up, darlin'. I'm off the same ship as your Rolly. He's as queer as a 2-bob note. Cruel bastard, too. You're much better off with me. I'll gasp, and tears will fill my eyes. I never knew. Don't cry, love. He's not worth it. He'll take my hand and press it to his lips. Name's George. George Monroe. It will take a while, but I'll get over Roland. He'll ask me to give his ring back, and George will tell him to get lost but use the F word for emphasis. Mom will approve of my sailor. He'll never miss a chance to hold me close, and at the altar, his eyes will look soppy as he waits for me to walk down the aisle, my hand on my father's arm. The priest will pronounce us husband and wife, and I'll picture Roland and sign him an imaginary middle finger when my brand new husband whispers in my ear, I love you, Marilyn Monroe. That do. I want to thank my brave authors for sharing their stories. Sending out your work into the world is a scary thing. You are a brave woman in my book. What did you think of this new series, or any of the stories in particular? Head on over to my Facebook page and drop me a line. Please include #StoryShare in your comments. Don't forget, next week on my regular programming, I will be chatting with Vicki Smith, licensed psychotherapist, about perfectionism. Until then, I wish you well.